The most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. And I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU.
President Biden attempting to regain support among the black community, making those incendiary remarks at a commencement address at Howard University. The speech, though, fell flat with some of the graduates, many of them holding up signs with disapproving messages. It's the latest example of perhaps waning support for the president and maybe Democrats among the black community. A recent poll by the Associated Press showed support for President Biden collapsing with the black community. Only 41% want him to run for re-election, while only 55% said they would be likely to support him next November. Contrast that with 90% approval ratings just 2 years ago. So is there an opening for the GOP here? Joining us now to discuss, author, speaker, and leader in the conservative movement, and host of the David Harris Jr. show and podcast, David Harris Jr. Love his flag back there on the eagle. Also joining me is Oklahoma House of Representatives former Speaker and former bank CEO T.W. Shannon, and in studio, my very special guest for the day, GOP strategist Jeanette Hoffman. All right, T.W., I'm going to go to you first. Biden's numbers are falling off a cliff with black voters. Democrats seem to think that victim and grievance messaging is somehow going to work to get them back. Do you believe that the black community is realizing that Democrats like Biden and Obama aren't exactly producing for them?
Well, it's not just black voters, it's all voters. I mean, when you look across the spectrum, people are concerned about the direction that Joe Biden has led this country. I mean, but the fact that this is a guy who authored the 1994 Civil Rights Bill, which targeted African-American men, this is the same guy that said, if you vote for me, you're not black. Joe Biden's record on African-American issues is abysmal. In fact, he eulogized Robert Byrd, Senator Robert Byrd, a recruiter for the KKK. This is a known fact. Tom, this isn't speculation. This isn't conspiracy. This is who the guy is. This is his legacy. And so the fact that he's waning among African-American voters is no surprise with this economy. It's all about jobs. It's all about job creation. And he has failed the American people, and he certainly failed black Americans. And I think it's time that black Americans take a look and say, listen, if Republicans get 14% of the African-American vote, it's over for Democrats, period.
I think that's one of the reasons why they're getting so desperate. David, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is set to officially announce his run for president on Monday. Republicans often haven't shown up to try to court the black community. Can they do that? And what do they need to do to appeal to black voters?
Well, I love what my brother TW just shared. And I like to just say that while the black community is a proud community, we don't like to admit when we're wrong. I think that we need to take a blast from the past. We need to walk down memory lane. We need to remember that underneath President Donald Trump, the poverty rate amongst the black community in this country fell multiple times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, I believe it was. He also passed, as TW shared, that Joe Biden pushed the crime bill that led to mass incarceration of many black Americans, mostly men. President Trump signed the First Step Act to reverse that, to correct that absolutely disastrous mistake. He then went on, while Joe is at an HBCU, President Trump went on to also sign the Future Act, which actually gave permanent funding to historical black colleges and universities, and at a rate of 13% higher than any previous federal funding before. That includes every single year that Obama was in office. President Donald Trump had over all 50 states. He had opportunity zones set up that would have brought in over $100 billion to mostly minority communities had he been able to continue doing the work that he was doing for this country. So listen, all Americans need help. TW is right. Americans need help, but the black community, when it comes to their vote, we have to understand that President Donald J. Trump was doing so much for the black community, and I absolutely believe that he's the one that can do so much more for the black community if he's given the chance.
TW, a lot of Republican strategists, though, they will say privately that they don't think the black community is worth the time and the money to try and court. What do you say to that?
Listen, there's a history here, Tom. The fact is that Republicans have ignored black voters and Democrats have taken them for granted for generations. The African-American vote is probably the most important vote to Democrats this election cycle. But unfortunately, they only think about the vote when it's time to campaign. I can't find one person, David, or anybody on the panel. Can you name one accomplishment by the Joe Biden administration that has been for the benefit of African Americans? I can't think of anything. He's been there nearly 4 years now. And the fact is, he's completely ignored the community. Not only has he been insulting, but his history on African-American issues, it's abysmal. There's a reason that Barack Obama picked him as vice president. It was to appeal to the white racist vote because he has a history of being wrong on issues that concern people of color, and nothing's changed. A leopard does not change his spots. He's the same old Joe Biden with the same old playbook.
I got to bring in Jeanette here. Jeanette, Democrats are embracing reparations. They're supercharging the racism talk. We saw a shift with Latinos toward Republicans. Do you think that this is possible?
It is possible, and I think we still have a long way to go to court black voters. However, I think Democrats will be in trouble, not only if Republicans start courting black voters, but if black voters stay home and don't turn out the vote for Joe Biden. Listen, Joe Biden owes the White House to black voters. They came out for him hard in 2020, and he won the primary because black voters in South Carolina basically won the primary for him. So I think Joe Biden's really got to be careful here. He likes to talk the talk and really engage in identity politics, but he really, as TW said, he can't point to one accomplishment for black voters.
Yeah, people are looking for results, particularly in that community. David Harris Jr., TW Shannon, thank you so much. Jeanette, stick around.